Good morning. Today's front page carries this very well reported piece by Coral Davenport, all about the Trump administration's next big push. As we know, the last big push was a pretty terrible failure. Tariffs, but now the Trump administration plans to work with Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency to delete hundreds of thousands of regulations that govern things like baby food quality, how we run our slaughterhouses, just minorly important things like that. Trump under Barack Obama was appalled by various climate change regulations. And so in his first term, Trump tried to repeal one of the regulations that limits emissions from cars. It took him about 3.5 years to do it because he followed the rules. So if you roll back a regulation under the federal government, you have to post for public comment. It takes a while, and it's just a process, right? That's why we put the rules in place, because it means that lobbyists for governments can't find a fascist and get whatever they want. Unfortunately, Donald Trump and his novel team of lawyers have decided that there's a way around this process, which is to simply ignore the regulations, stop enforcing them, and kind of post for public comment while ignoring the regulations exist. There are a couple of Supreme Court rulings that have come out in the last 2-4 years that potentially support that. These are novel legal strategies. That's what the reporter says they are. Sounds like some BS to me, but there's one regulation that regulates how many medical staff need to be on shift at nursing homes. Sounds like a good thing. Don't want my granny dying. Unfortunately, she did die recently, but you know what I mean. There's another rule that prevents minors from inhaling deadly dust. Who needs that? Who needs a minor? So this is a pretty long piece. They've done quite a lot of work on it, and it goes over to page 17. Let's have a look. Deregulation effort could drastically reshape life in America. There's all these lovely pictures of things that will be affected by this deregulation effort. Guess what, America? You're effed would be the headline I would give this piece. The paciness of this, and the things it's going to affect, from climate change to guns. Oh, don't worry about getting a background check now, to meat. I mean, who needs to slaughter animals in a kind of regulated fashion when you can just run through a factory with a chainsaw? The pace of the regulation and the things they're going to affect promise to overhaul American life. I'm just wondering kind of what's going to be left of this country in 3.5 years. Frankly, it's just so ghoulish, this piece. The guy who is going to enforce the regulations is a far-right Christian. His name is Russell T. Vought. Always be careful of anyone who puts an initial in their middle name, especially if they're an attorney. But this guy is the director of the White House Office of Budget and Management and Budget. He founded a kind of very right-leaning organization fairly recently. And now he's a natural ally for Elon Musk, who, as we know, likes to do funny arm gestures that look an awful lot like Nazi salutes. We had 4 years in which to prepare and a first term of trial and error, and now we know exactly how the operation works, said a White House spokesman, Harrison Fields. We have a lot of latitude here, and we have the ability to roll back some of these devastating regulations. These regulations are not devastating. There's a really great quote in here from one expert who says a lot of people don't realize that our really great quality of life in America is due to things being regulated. When you're regulating the quality of the water, when you're regulating the quality of meat, when you're basically making sure people don't die because business people are unscrupulous, it's a good thing. They used to put chalk in milk. They water it down, put chalk in it, make it look white. They stopped doing that because there are regulations on milk. They being fascist business people who are in love with Donald Trump. Anyway, I'm depressed. This is depressing. It's been a pleasure reading the newspaper so that you don't have to. This all started as a very light-hearted project so that I would effectively read the paper for other people. I will say it's taking a toll on my mental health, just reading the newspaper. And that's what they want. They want us to be depressed by them so that we stop reading the newspaper, ignore them, and let them get on with it. I will never do that. And I'm quite happy to eat every kind of grain of poopy that this administration is prepared to throw out through the newspaper on your behalf so that you don't have to. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure reading the newspaper today so that you don't have to. My name is Matt Davis, and I wish you a pleasant day. End stream.